Jay here for Stretford, Paddock. That's Stephen Howson, and this is a little bit of a chat. You and Joe usually do these, don't you? We have a bit of a chat here, but I've not been on a podcast with you for about 3 days, so I thought me and you'd do it. Was it Thursday, the last one we did? Off the bat?
I think I'm here actually Friday.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Because you might not be, but I might not be. So I think Joe McGrath's standing in for me.
Oh, I'm definitely not in then. We're going to sit there and be like, "Hey, Steve, you ever had skips?
Hey, have you ever run dead fast to catch a tram? Hey, have you ever had a chicken wing?" I'm only messing, Joe. We love you, really.
He does. He does.
We thought we'd talk about Manchester United. Why not? It's a controversial topic in a minute. This summer, right, me and you were chatting the other day, and you said about you want Michael Carrick. You think that's the manager that gets you excited if it was Michael Carrick?
Not like an unwinnable race for anyone else.
No.
But right now, like if I've got to make the decision today, like there's a guy here doing it. If you ask someone to build a wall and someone was halfway through building a wall, it looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Would you go bin them and get someone that you'd only heard could build a wall?
Can I just say that's one of the best analogies I've ever heard. That is genuinely elite, right? If that's not clipped up, you're all fired, right? I love that. I get it. And I love life under Michael Carrick. I like what he's doing. I like the wall he's building. My only sort of worry or question would be, can he carry on this amazing job he's doing?
Can anyone? Like, you got a guy at the moment showing you what he can do.
Yeah.
Everybody else is hypothetical.
Right.
Everybody. Like, even if you say, but look at what Luis Enrique did, and I'll go, fantastic.
That's the thing.
The best CV in world football at the moment. Has he done it with Delo, though?
Right, okay. Let me reframe the question to you then. Because this was a question I think you had a lot of, we all had under Ollie. You're going into a big game, right? Genuinely, whether it's a Champions League game, Premier League game, whatever. It's a big game. Who would you rather as your manager, Luis Enrique, for the sake of argument, or Michael Carrick?
Right now, I was saying Michael Carrick. Right. What he's just done at Arsenal and City.
Yeah, that's your answer. Fair enough.
So, but the question marks about Carrick actually don't appear to be those games.
No,
and the best thing about Ollie, actually, which Michael Carrick was at least there. I remember going to Anfield with Jose Mourinho as manager. Jose Mourinho. The most winningest manager in world football outside of Sir Alex Ferguson. Like, for me, that's them.
Yeah.
Carlo Ancelotti adjacent, right? I would go to Anfield and go, I think we're going to try and get a draw.
Yeah.
But he'll probably be pretty happy if we lose 1-0.
Well, that was his MO, wasn't it? Do you remember the Lukaku miss one where David De Gea had a world day? We drew 0-0. Klopp, I think, had gone 7 games without a win. It was under real pressure. Scousers like to pretend they always supported him and never actually doubted him and never wanted him gone. They're talking rubbish. They did. And that was the point where you think this could go either way. We got the 0-0, if you can call it getting it. And apparently, I think Mitten wrote that some of the players were unhappy with our approach because they felt they were there for the taking and we could take them. But Jose was like, we ain't doing that. We're defending and trying to get the odd chance if we can. And Lukaku, to be fair, did get a chance, but he missed it. So I get where you're coming from on that front.
But then you flip it to when we went to the Etihad with Ollie. When we went to Paris with Ollie.
Yeah. These were tactics that worked as well. And it's tactics against teams that don't lose the way they did against us. Like Paris Saint-Germain, obviously, they had the 2-0 win from Old Trafford and got knocked out.
It was children that beat them.
Yeah.
With Ashley Young.
It was mental. And then look at City, Ollie's record at the Etihad against Pep.
And all you want is
good
belief, I think.
Yeah.
All you want is the delusional belief that you can get a result. And that's all you want to... You go into a big game and think that we might get something here. Or we're at least having a go. And I think we're going and having a go. And does that mean he's perfect? No. We do have to figure out a way that we can win every type of game. He at the moment is taking a test in front of everyone.
Yeah.
And we're seeing the questions. Can you beat a low block? Can you beat the next low block? Okay. Like, you're allowed to make a mistake. Don't make it twice, though. Don't make it a thing.
Do you think
don't make it we come against 4 low blocks and can't score?
Is there an element of jury's out on that front for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we've seen what he can do against the Cities, the Chelseas, the Arsenals.
What, go behind in a game?
Yeah.
And win one.
Yeah, that's what we're still waiting to see.
This is a test that we're seeing the questions and then we're seeing him figure it out live. And he won't get the answer right first time every time, but he's going to have 4 or 5 months to show us his working, if you like. and we're going to get to the end of the season and we're going to say, right, he either passed the test or he didn't pass the test. But he's the one taking the test at the moment. Everyone else has just read the book.
Do you think
not took the test?
Do you think there should be a process here when it comes to it? Or do you think if he passes the test at the end of the season, they just give him the job? Or do you think United should still be looking at the managers and saying, okay, let's interview and let's see who makes their case and then we decide? Or would you be happy if the board went, look, Michael Carrick, we finished fourth, say for the sake of argument again, you passed the test that you mentioned, just give him the job. We don't need to interview Enrique or Conte or whoever.
No, you have to do the interviews. Now, I said when Jose Mourinho came, which I think was 2016, so 10 years ago.
It's mad that.
United, from that moment, you've entered into this dance with the devil, if you like, with appointing Jose Mourinho. You've become one of those clubs on this merry-go-round now.
Yeah.
And boy, did we really take to that. You have to have this live shortlist. Now, I think there's some evidence to suggest that City have got this live shortlist. Why was he talking to Maresca mid-season? Maresca literally gets sacked because he was found talking to Manchester City mid-season. Is Pep going anywhere? We don't know.
No.
But they was already doing and have they only ever spoke to Maresca? I guarantee they've not. I guarantee they've already spoken to 7 or 8, and we've only heard about Maresca. Now, I would love, not necessarily to find out, but I would love to know that United were doing the same sort of thing. Now, clearly we didn't do that.
Yeah.
Because Wilcox and Amorim fell out on a Friday. They didn't decide to sack him until a Monday. If they'd have had a live shortlist, then you don't appoint an interim before you're interim.
No.
You know, you might get an interim and then you appoint your guy.
Yeah.
But when we finished 15th and lost to Spurs in a Europa League final, these conversations should have happened there and then. We should have already known who the next... Not us. The club should have already known who their 1, 2 and 3 was going to be. And they should have already worded them up. Listen, if this goes west, because let's be honest, there was every chance it just continued the way it was going and you had to sack him before Christmas.
Yeah.
Or, around Christmas. So, why was it not already arranged? Manchester City are doing it. If I can come up with that idea 10 years ago, why can't the £7 billion worth of football club in Manchester United, executives paid $5 million a year, go, that's not a bad idea, that.
It's beyond naive, isn't it? There's naivety, I think, with Amorim that let's just forget about last season. He lost the final to Spurs. We finished 15th, but he's still our guy. And look, a lot of us backed him and said, all right, give him time. But as a club, we should have been looking at, there's a good chance, there's a strong possibility this doesn't work out. Yeah. So what is the plan B? And our plan B was basically, Darren Fletcher's in the building, get him in charge for a couple of games. That's not a slight on him. It made sense. And then bring in someone we know. There was no plan.
But even
there.
that felt that conversation happened after the manager had been sacked.
Well, yeah, it probably did, to be fair, because I think he, going into that Leeds game, I know the Friday the wheels had started coming off with his pre-match presser, but it was the post-match presser where you went, this doesn't look like.
Well, the word that come out, isn't it, is that the club, Wilcox, decided he's done.
Yeah.
And then it's a matter of time. But at that moment, did we? I don't know if we did or we didn't, but did we not word up Darren Fletcher there and then? Did we not word up our shortlist there and then? Did we have a shortlist there and then? If we didn't, it's criminal, mate.
Do you just not to go back too far, but do you think we did have that with Ten Hag? That's why Amorim was the guy in the middle of the season, or do you think they reacted to it because he was doing so well at Sporting that season?
They very publicly conducted interviews. We know Tuchel was one of them. We don't know, I don't think, of anyone else that they interviewed.
I don't know. There was reports among them, maybe Thomas Frank, but I don't know how solid that was. I don't know.
I mean, there's some reports that Jurgen Klopp, I don't know what timing it was.
Yeah, that's sort of come out again, hasn't it, today, I think.
So I don't know who and where the interviews were and how many people were involved. But clearly, we didn't fully act on that because it still took us to get rid of him.
Yeah.
To bring in Ruud van Nistelrooy for a little bit before we appoint Ruben Amorim.
Yeah, there doesn't seem like there was much of a clear plan. Moving forward then, okay, you won't see Carrick in the job, but you're not against us at least looking at the managers, at least having those conversations, which are any sort of...
Carrick for the job if he passes the test.
If he passes the test.
He might not pass the test.
Yeah. We finished after the start we've had now, if we were to finish in the Europa League spots, I think there'd be an air of disappointment there.
I think you're absolutely right.
Because I'm already sort of planning trips away in the Champions League, so anything less would be a bit disappointing. In terms of transfers as well, do you think United now, almost regardless of managers, should be looking at transfers because we know the holes that need filling, or do you wait? Because for me, almost regardless of whichever manager comes in, you're going to need a certain type of midfielder. You're going to need a defensive type of midfielder. That's a given, regardless of whether you can bring in De Zerbi or you bring in Luis Enrique or Nagelsmann or whatever. You need a DM. Do you start looking now, or do you wait to see who your manager is? Do you have those conversations with the manager first before you start trying to sign players or looking at players?
It has to be both.
Right, okay.
It has to be both. You have to create a short list. You have to word up agents, and you've got to probably lie to a lot of people. You're gonna have to lie to some managers, and you're gonna have to lie to a lot of players, and you're gonna have to be like, yeah, that's who's coming. Yeah. He's gonna be the boss. No, actually, yeah, these are the players that you're gonna have. You're gonna have to do a lot of chatting shit or bending of the truth. You absolutely need to put together a short list of both the players as well as the managers that you should be interviewing. But I really believe it needs to be rubber stamped by the guy that gets the job, because there's no point you having another Kobe Mainu situation on someone that you might spend 80, 90 million on.
Yeah, because even like Kobe Mainu to me seemed like the ultimate tap-in for any manager. That is a player who starts for Manchester United. I don't care whether you're Eric Ten Hag, Sir Alex Ferguson, whoever. Every manager will have Kobe Mainu in the team, except Ruben Amorim. Happens to be your manager.
So you can easily get another situation where you don't know, like if you just went, let's say you signed Elliot Anderson, but Elliot Anderson, unbeknown to nobody, fell out with Michael Carrick.
Right.
Just in random passing, because when he was at Newcastle and he was at Middlesbrough, and they saw each other on a night out, and it got a bit iffy.
Just a bit of needle between
Who knows,
them.
right?
Yeah.
Like that sort of stuff can happen. Like people are like, no fucking way. They crossed path once in Wetherspoons. Like, that's an absolute shit show of a situation. Now you think maybe they get over it, maybe professional relationships, blah, 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 blah. But there's a massive difference between you investing 100 million, 80 million in a star signing and your manager wanting him or not wanting him. Like, that's huge.
Is that then another reason why you prefer Carrick? Because there's at least that head start there, isn't there? Because if it's shaping up, say you're getting towards the end of May or middle of May, whenever the season ends, and you're looking at it and you're going, you know what, we're third, or we're looking quite comfortable for Champions League here. We can get top 4, even 5. Carrick's done what we asked him to do. Should we start having these conversations now with him about his future at the club and the signings he wants? Because that makes a lot more sense, and that's the advantage he's got, rather than going, should we wait and see what happens in the World Cup and see whether Ancelotti or Nagelsmann or whoever.
What if the target that you want gets injured at the World Cup? What if the manager that you want has a rush of blood and everything went perfect with whichever nation he's with, and he wins it, and they go, name your price, and he's like, I fucking love it here, I'm staying, and you're like, oh shit, we ain't got a manager. Like, the lack of planning might as well be. If Mitten's not wrote this book yet, there's the title for it. The last 12 years of Manchester United is the lack of planning years, because that's all we've done is lurch from one shit decision to another. How you go from Lou Van Gaal to Jose Mourinho when one hates the other and he's going to just shit can any player that like the other guy. Like, it's so expensive to do that. When people go, United have spent $1 billion on transfers and done fuck all, because it's a lack of planning. A complete lack of planning, a complete lack of research, not just in terms of like players and personalities and fit, but just in terms of like lurching for, like, how do you go from David Moyes, direct, pragmatic, to Lou Van Gaal, let's dominate the ball, to Jose Mourinho, to who gives a fuck what's going on with the ball, to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, to like, let's just.
It's the 180. Me and you've spoken about it numerous times. I know you have several times. It's that 180 idea of, well, Jose was a bit of a disciplinarian who fell out of everyone. Let's get someone who's going to put an arm around the shoulder. David Moyes didn't win out. Let's get someone who's won the lot. Louis Van Gaal ain't got any Premier League experience. Let's get someone who's won the Premier League 3 times. It's that whole 180 every time, and you got to stop doing that.
That's lurching from one extreme to the next out of lack of planning. So if you want to go into this summer and be a success, I think it starts with obsessive planning for once.
Right.
And maybe Michael Carrick isn't the right guy, but maybe he's the guy that allows you, he's good enough for you to start implementing a plan. And maybe you know that this guy or that guy or this guy is the ideal manager, but he's just signed a contract extension somewhere, and maybe it's going to be a little bit difficult to get him out because Nagelsmann signed one, Tuchel signed one.
Yeah.
Ancelotti's absolutely loving life on Copacabana Beach at the moment. Like there's nobody out there right now, including Enrique, because I think there's massive question marks. I think he had recruitment and teams at PSG and at Barcelona that don't compare to Manchester United.
Right.
Yes, the expectations at both clubs do.
Yeah.
But the ability to be able to translate that does not. So I think even though in terms of the CV, he has absolutely got the best CV. But has he done it with a club that's maybe fell off a little bit? That's why what Nagelsmann did at Hoffenheim showed us a bit of that.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't know if Enrique does.
And that's why the planning's got to come in and give
You got to start planning. You got and yeah, you know, how do we know how this season ends? What if he wins the Champions League again?
Yeah.
And they go, "You're going fucking nowhere, my mate."
Yeah.
And he goes, "You're right, I'm going fucking nowhere." They go, we will sign you, like they've got the dough too. They go, "We'll sign you anyone you want, and you name your price for a salary." And he goes, "Fuck it."
Because there could be a bit of a market for him as well, because we don't know what's going to go on. City have already been speaking to Maresca, so are they not going to want to speak to him if he's available? If Pep does decide this is going to be his swan song?
No, I think United have got more pull than Arsenal, but what if Arsenal enter the race if Lego Head doesn't win anything this year?
And the thing with Arsenal is there's that great unknown I always think with London. Like,
it's a pull, innit?
It's a pull. People want to live in London, bizarrely. I fucking don't, but some people do. So that could be...
Well, they've only got dough and all.
Yeah, well, that's a point. Even Liverpool. I mean, look, Manchester United are a much bigger club than Liverpool before anyone starts, but Slot might not be there next season, and they might be. So Enrique might have a bit of an affection for that club because bizarrely some people do, or there might be some sort of financial package that he likes, or he might not.
Or there might be a player that he goes,
yeah.
I fucking worked with him before, and I absolutely adore him. Like you don't know what personal relationships or preferences exist. You know, it's mad to just think that we're Man United, we'll get whoever we want. Not right now.
No.
And yeah, there's a chance Michael Carrick might be the perfect fit for us. He might not be, but he might be. And if it's working with him, it's crazy to go with the hypotheticals because we've been down pretty much every route.
We have.
Apart from a fucking Tesla robot.
Yeah, the robotic manager's the only one we haven't done yet. We've done the legend, the club legend. We've done the most experienced manager. We've done the most successful manager available. We've done the manager who's been at a club the longest in the Premier League. We've done the hipster choice. We've done the guy who's sat in the dressing room there who you can just point out and go, yeah, I'd fancy taking over. We've done it all. We've won the lot. Well, not since post Sir Alex Ferguson anyway.
12 years.
Yeah. But planning. Thanks, Steve. I like that. Like the wall analogy as well. Make sure you go and check him out on all his other channels. You know where to find him. That's me, Stephen Howson. I'm Jay Marty. Don't forget as well, check out the merchandise. There's a link in the description. Thanks for watching.